In a dimly lit apartment, Trinity is deep in an encrypted conversation on her computer, discussing a man who might be the one. Suddenly, a team of police officers bursts into the room, interrupting her chat. Trinity kneels and places her hands on her head. An officer approaches with handcuffs, confident he has the upper hand. But in the blink of an eye, Trinity spins, lands 2 quick strikes, and finishes with a slow-motion aerial kick. She quickly takes down the rest of the squad within seconds. Immediately, she contacts someone named Morpheus, who warns her there's no time and directs her to a nearby phone booth to escape. As soon as she ends the call, more officers and dark-suited agents arrive. A rooftop chase ensues, defying gravity and the laws of physics. In a daring leap, Trinity crosses a massive gap between buildings. The officers stop, knowing their limits, but not the agent in the dark suit. Trinity repeats the jump and lands successfully. She finally reaches the phone booth, but a truck is hurtling straight towards her. The phone starts ringing, and in a race against time, she grabs the receiver just before the truck smashes into the booth. The agents in suits inspect the wreckage, but Trinity is gone. One of them assures the others it doesn't matter. A snitch has revealed their next target, Neo, the supposed chosen one. By day, Neo is a programmer. By night, he's a hacker. He's asleep at his desk, bathed in the glow of his computer screen. A sound wakes him, and he sees a message on his monitor. "Wake up, Neo. The Matrix has you. Follow the white rabbit." Just then, a knock on his door snaps him out of his trance. It's a client. With friends in tow, Neo pulls a floppy disk from a book titled Simulacra and Simulation and hands it to him, asking him to keep his identity under wraps. The man confidently replies, "You don't exist." The guy notices Neo's pale appearance and suggests he needs to unplug, inviting him to a club. Neo hesitates until he sees a white rabbit tattoo on a girl. The sign is clear, so he accepts the invitation. While at the club, a mysterious figure approached, calling Neo by his name. It's Trinity, warning him that he's in danger and being watched. She adds that she's been watching him day and night and knows he's searching for an answer. "And that search brought you to me." "What is the Matrix?" Neo asks. Trinity replies, "The answer is out there, and it will find you if you want it to." The next day, Neo arrives late for work. His boss, who knows him as Thomas Anderson, criticizes him harshly and gives him an ultimatum: either adhere to the punctuality rules or find another job. Neo nods and returns to his cubicle, where he receives a mysterious package containing a cell phone that rings immediately. It's Morpheus, telling him that they've been looking for him, and time is running out. He reveals to Neo that they're being hunted, and he doesn't know what the agents plan to do. Neo is confused, but as he rises from his desk, he sees the suited agents approaching. Morpheus, seemingly seeing everything, gives Neo real-time instructions to evade the approaching agents. He guides Neo to a window, suggesting he escape to an exterior ledge that leads to the roof. Neo faces a choice: go out the window or be captured. Initially, he opts for the former, but as he looks down into the abyss, he hesitates and decides to surrender. Neo was taken to an interrogation room. The leader of the agents reveals that they've been following him and know he leads 2 lives. In one life, he is the respectable programmer Thomas Anderson, and in the other, he is the criminal hacker known as Neo. The agent immediately reveals that they know he has been contacted by a man named Morpheus, considered the most dangerous man alive, and they offer him a deal. They will erase his record and give him a fresh start in exchange for his help in capturing this dangerous criminal. But Neo has a different idea. He flips them off and demands his phone call. The agent smiles and retorts that the call won't matter if he can't speak, and suddenly, Neo's mouth seals shut. They subdue him, and the leader implants a robotic bug into his navel, assuring Neo that he will help them whether he wants to or not. Suddenly, Neo wakes up in his bed, unsure if it was all a nightmare. At that moment, the phone rings. It's Morpheus. He tells Neo that the agents left him alive because they underestimated his importance and reveals that Neo is the chosen one. Intrigued and confused, Neo follows Morpheus's instructions to meet up. He arrives at a nearby bridge where Trinity and Switch pick him up. Switch points a gun at Neo and orders him to take off his shirt. "You're either with us or you're out," she warns. Neo hesitates but decides to trust Trinity, who quickly extracts the robotic bug implanted in his body. At that moment, Neo realizes his experience wasn't a dream. They arrive at the apartment where Morpheus awaits, and Trinity advises Neo to be completely honest. During their meeting, Morpheus asks Neo if he believes in fate, to which Neo replies that he doesn't because he dislikes the idea of not having control over his life. Morpheus nods, understanding perfectly. He explains that Neo feels something is wrong with the world, something he can't explain but can sense. This unease has brought him here. Neo asks if he's talking about the Matrix, and Morpheus explains that the Matrix is everything he sees. It is the world that has been pulled over his eyes to blind him from the truth. What truth? Neo asks. Morpheus responds with a devastating revelation. You are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell, taste, or touch. A prison for your mind. Morpheus then presents Neo with a final choice. 2 pills. The blue pill will return him to the comfort of his ignorance, and the red pill will reveal the hidden, harsh truth. Without hesitation, Neo chooses the red pill. Then they move to another room, where Morpheus's team prepares for the next step. Neo is connected to a computer, and Morpheus explains that the red pill is a marker that will allow them to locate his body in the real world. Shortly after, Neo's perception starts to distort. A broken mirror restores itself and seems to consume him. Neo can't believe what is happening. Morpheus asks him if he has ever had a dream that felt real. What if you couldn't wake up from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? That is what's happening. Neo has lived his entire life in the Matrix, a fictional world, and what he has considered real all his life is nothing but a simulation designed to keep humanity in the dark about a truth he is about to discover. The mirror is about to consume Neo entirely, but at the last moment, they manage to locate him in the real world, and Morpheus gives the order to pull Neo out of the Matrix. Neo wakes up in a pod, surrounded by a sea of humans in a technology-induced slumber. Cables run through their bodies, anchoring them to an artificial reality. Soon, a robot approaches, grabs Neo by the neck, and frees him from the cables, causing him to fall into a pool of waste. A hatch opens, and a robotic arm fishes him out, bringing him to Morpheus and his team, who welcome him to the real world. Neo then undergoes a process of physical and mental rehabilitation, as his body and mind have been subjected to atrophy and illusion. His body is weak, and his eyes hurt because they have never been used before. Finally, Neo asks the burning question, what is this place? Morpheus, however, emphasizes that the when is more important than the where, and reveals another truth. Although Neo believes it is the year 1999, they are actually much further ahead in time, so far that no one knows the exact date. Morpheus then takes Neo through his ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, and introduces him to the rest of his crew, Apoc, Switch, Cypher, the brothers Tank and Dozer, and Mouse. He then proceeds to show Neo what the Matrix is. Neo sits down, they strap his feet to the chair, and after connecting a cable to the back of his neck, he finds himself in a completely white space known as the Construct. This is a space where they can whip up anything they need, such as clothes, weapons, or training programs. To demonstrate this, 2 pieces of furniture appear suddenly, further destabilizing Neo's grasp on reality. Morpheus challenges Neo, asking, how do you define real? If it's what we smell, touch, taste, and see, then all we experience is merely electrical signals interpreted by our brains. This understanding helps explain how the simulation in the Matrix functions. Through cables, a person receives code. This code is converted into electrical signals, interpreted by the brain as sensory experiences. This allows them to experience the simulated world as though it were real. It's as if the Matrix code is a programming language that the human brain can decode to create the illusion of a tangible world. Next, Morpheus turns on a TV. First, he shows the world as Neo knew it, the supposed year 1999. Then, he reveals the real world in the present, desolate and devastated. Morpheus explains that after the creation of artificial intelligence in the early 2000s, a war broke out between humans and machines. Humans destroyed the sky in a desperate attempt to cut off the machine's solar energy source. In response, the machines began using humans as sources of bioenergy. To keep their bodies still, the machines created the Matrix to occupy their minds with a simulated life. Overwhelmed by the harsh truth, Neo begs to be disconnected. As soon as he is, he collapses, unconscious. When he wakes up, he asks if he can go back, but Morpheus says no. Morpheus then apologizes, revealing that they usually don't free minds beyond a certain age because they struggle to accept the truth. However, Morpheus felt compelled to awaken Neo. He believes Neo is the one prophesied by the Oracle, the person capable of manipulating, controlling, and ultimately destroying the Matrix. The next day, Neo meets Tank, a man with no connection ports on his body. Tank explains that he and his brother are 100% human, born in the real world, in Zion, the last remaining human city. They then introduce Neo to a new kind of education, loading programs directly into his brain. In a matter of seconds, Neo learns jujitsu. Over the next 10 hours, they load a plethora of combat techniques into his mind, preparing him for what lies ahead. Soon, the time comes to put his new knowledge to the test in a practice fight with Morpheus. They simulate the programmed reality of the Matrix, but with a flexibility in the laws of physics. Morpheus and Neo engage in a gravity-defying dance of kicks and acrobatic jumps. Neo shows skill, but is ultimately outmatched by Morpheus. When Morpheus asks why Neo thinks he lost, Neo suggests it's a matter of speed. However, Morpheus corrects him. If it's his mind and not his body that is in the simulation, then the strength and speed he exhibits have nothing to do with his physical attributes, but with his mind. Neo then begins to understand that he must free his mind. To further illustrate this point, Morpheus takes Neo to a program simulating jumps between buildings. Morpheus performs a flying leap and successfully lands on a distant building. But Neo, despite the encouragement and expectations, fails and falls, reflecting that he still doubts himself. Upon being disconnected, Neo notices blood in his mouth. He believed the program wasn't real, but Morpheus explains that his mind makes it real. So if he dies in the Matrix, he dies in the real world. While events in the Matrix don't have a direct physical impact, the mind's belief in its authenticity gives the simulation the power to affect the body. Neo didn't fall to the ground in reality, but his mind thinks he did, and that's why he bleeds. While Neo rests, Trinity brings him a plate of food. Cypher watches and recalls that she never brought him dinner, and then questions Morpheus's faith in Neo as the One. Why not take him to the Oracle if he is so sure? During a new training scenario, Morpheus further elaborates on the nature of the Matrix. He says that every person trapped in the simulation until awakened is a potential enemy, as many will even fight to protect the system that oppresses them. During this speech, Neo momentarily gets distracted by looking at an attractive woman, a mistake Morpheus uses to emphasize the constant attention required. As Neo turns, he finds himself face to face with an agent. Morpheus tenses, warning that in the Matrix, such a distraction could be deadly. He explains that agents aren't bound to human minds like they are. Instead, they are powerful programs, guardians of the Matrix, able to access and control any part of it. They can take over anyone, anytime. No one has ever defeated an agent, but Morpheus believes Neo can be the first. Suddenly, an alarm blares. Machines are on their tail. The connection to the Matrix severs, plunging them back into the real world. With a risky maneuver, Morpheus orders all systems offline. The ship goes dark, narrowly escaping the machine's radar. Later, Neo approaches Cypher, who seems startled, as if caught hiding something. "What are those green codes?" Neo asks, gesturing to the screens. Cypher explains that they are the very fabric of the Matrix itself. Each line represents an element within the simulation. A blonde woman, a sprawling mansion, everything that makes up their artificial reality. Then, with a chilling casualness, Cypher offers a piece of advice. If you see an agent, run. He doesn't reveal his true motive. He's the mole. Tired and disillusioned, Cypher believes ignorance is bliss. He's made a deal to betray Morpheus, the only one with the access codes to Zion, in exchange for a blissful return to the Matrix as someone powerful and wealthy. Another day, Morpheus decides it's time to visit the Oracle. Tank and Dozer remain on the ship, while the others jack back into the Matrix. Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity split off, guarded by the rest of the crew. Cypher sees his chance and discreetly drops a phone, betraying their location. Arriving at the Oracle's chamber, Neo enters a waiting room teeming with other hopeful chosen ones, each manipulating the environment with their minds. Among them, a young boy with the serenity of a monk sits effortlessly bending a spoon. He offers Neo crucial advice. "There is no spoon," the boy says, "only your perception of it. To bend the spoon, you must bend your mind." He explains that the Matrix is just code, tricking Neo's mind into believing he sees a spoon. But Neo's mind is real. and thus he can control his perception. Taking the boy's advice to heart, Neo focuses his will and bends the spoon. His mental breakthrough coincides with the Oracle, a wise, elderly woman, beckoning him forward. She quickly demonstrates her prescience, predicting Neo will break a vase. And indeed, moments later, he accidentally does. This prompts a philosophical question. Would he have broken it had she not said anything? Neo, riddled with doubt about his destiny as the Chosen One, voices his skepticism. The Oracle smiles knowingly, telling him such certainty is felt, not told. After studying him, she delivers a shocking verdict. He is not the Chosen One. He possesses something special, but seems to be waiting for something, a delay she laments for Morpheus's sake. Morpheus, she reveals, believes so fiercely in Neo that he would die for him. Then, with chilling certainty, she delivers a prophecy. One of them will die, and the choice will fall to Neo. The encounter deepens the philosophical debate between destiny and free will. Yet the Oracle offers no easy answers. Instead, she reframes the question, suggesting Neo's self-doubt colors his fate. He has the potential to be the Chosen One, but it's his actions that will ultimately solidify that destiny. Back in the Matrix, the team prepares to escape, but disaster strikes. Cypher's betrayal leads the agents straight to their location. The building's code is rewritten, trapping them. Mouse is the first to fall, gunned down by the relentless agents. Tank guides the remaining crew toward the sewers, but as they make their descent, Cypher's careless sneeze alerts the pursuing agents. One bursts through the wall, seizing Neo in a vice-like grip. Morpheus, seeing his protege in danger, attacks the agent, buying time for the others to escape with Neo. But the agent is too strong. He overpowers Morpheus, taking him captive. Meanwhile, Cypher, still playing the helpful comrade, reaches the exit point. He contacts Tank, requesting coordinates, all part of his plan to tie up loose ends. But unbeknownst to Cypher, Tank is not as helpless as he appears. Cypher reaches the exit and unleashes a deadly ray gun blast, seemingly killing Tank and Dozer. He traps Trinity and the others, his betrayal complete. Contacting the ship, Cypher reveals his treachery, declaring his preference for the comforting illusion of the Matrix over the harsh realities of their fight. He severs APOC and switches connections, erasing them from existence within the Matrix. As he prepares to do the same to Neo, aiming to finally confirm if he's truly the Chosen One, a miracle occurs. Tank, rising from the dead, gathers his remaining strength and delivers a fatal blow to Cypher. He then scrambles to set up the exit point for Trinity and Neo, giving them their only chance at escape. They disconnect just as the agents close in. Meanwhile, Morpheus endures grueling interrogation at the hands of the agents, who are desperate to extract the access codes to Zion from his mind. The consequences of their success would be catastrophic, the potential annihilation of the remaining human population. Tank, burdened by the weight of their situation, prepares to make the agonizing decision to sacrifice Morpheus before the agents can break him. Just as he's about to sever the connection, ending Morpheus's life to save humanity, Neo interjects. He remembers the Oracle's prophecy, the choice he would have to make. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose and a burgeoning belief in the cause, he resolves to enter the Matrix and rescue Morpheus. Trinity, unwavering in her loyalty, joins him. Together, they arm themselves with an arsenal of high-powered weaponry, prepping for a full-on assault within the digital battleground. Entering the Matrix, they immediately find themselves facing off against a heavily armed police squad. What follows is a ballet of breathtaking action, perfectly timed blocks, devastating kicks, and acrobatics that defy the limits of the physical world. Neo confronts an agent, his movements seemingly impossible to counter. Neo finds himself dodging bullets in slow motion, his body bending at impossible angles as he narrowly avoids each projectile. One grazes him, a searing reminder that his transformation is not yet complete. But with each near miss, Neo's belief in himself, his ability to manipulate the very fabric of this digital reality, grows stronger. As he sheds these limiting beliefs, his power within the Matrix surges. Just as the agent takes aim for the final shot, Trinity intervenes. Neo mans the turret, raining fire down on the building where Morpheus is being held captive. Bullets tear through walls, but even as agents fall, they regenerate, their digital forms impervious to true death. Still, Neo buys precious time for Morpheus to make a daring escape, leaping from the skyscraper just as the helicopter soars into view. Back on the ship, Morpheus, awed by Neo's display of power, reaffirms his belief. Neo is the one. Neo starts to recount his meeting with the Oracle and her doubts, but Morpheus stops him. "She told you exactly what you needed to hear," he says, adding a crucial distinction. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Neo's journey isn't about passively discovering he's the one, it's about actively choosing to become him. The trio contacts Tank, desperate to escape back into the real world. Morpheus and Trinity make it out safely, but as Neo prepares to follow, Agent Smith reappears, cutting off their escape route by destroying the phone. Neo faces another choice: flee and live to fight another day, or confront this seemingly invincible enemy. He turns, resolve hardening on his face. He chooses to believe. He chooses to fight. The ensuing battle is a symphony of destruction. Each blow from Neo lands with bone-jarring force, pushing Smith back. Yet, the agent seems to anticipate his every move. Neo finds himself pinned against the subway tracks, the blinding light of an oncoming train signaling his doom. But then, in a feat that defies logic and physics, he leaps. He soars upward, transcending the limitations of the Matrix, flipping backward over the train as it roars past, crushing Agent Smith beneath its wheels. But as Neo catches his breath, a chill runs down his spine. Agent Smith, borrowing another form, materializes nearby. Their fight is far from over. The ship shudders violently as sentinels swarm around it like angry wasps. Time is running out. Neo needs to reach the exit point before they're forced to deploy the EMP, a last resort that will leave them vulnerable and exposed. He finally reaches the phone, hope surging, only to find Agent Smith waiting for him. A cold smirk plays on the agent's lips as he raises his gun and fires. The bullet rips through Neo, sending him crashing to the ground. Aboard the Nebuchadnezzar, Morpheus and Trinity watch in horrified silence as the life signs on the monitor flatline. The Oracle's words echo ominously in their minds. Could this be the end? But Trinity refuses to accept it. Driven by a love that transcends the physical realm, a love rooted in unwavering faith, she leans down and whispers to Neo, "She told me that I'd fall in love with the one, so you can't be dead, because I love you." And with that, she kisses him, pouring all her belief, all her hope, into that single touch, and a miracle unfolds. Neo's eyes snap open, his body pulsing with newfound power. In this world, belief itself can bend reality. As doubt recedes, Neo grasps the true nature of his abilities. His power to reshape the Matrix doesn't stem from some preordained destiny, but from the unshakable conviction in his own potential. The moment he chooses to believe, truly believe, he steps into the role of the One, his essence merging with destiny. Smith lunges again, but this time, Neo is ready. The fight is no longer a struggle but a dance, Neo effortlessly deflecting every blow, his movements imbued with the confidence of a god among mortals. He enters Smith's code, his consciousness flowing like a virus, rewriting the agent's very essence. The scream that erupts from Smith is the wail of a dying program, erased from existence. Neo awakens in the real world, Trinity by his side. Their kiss is a potent blend of relief, passion, and the promise of the battles to come. He knows his work is far from over. The Matrix, a prison built on illusion, still holds humanity captive. With newfound determination, Neo re-enters the digital realm, his voice echoing with quiet power as he delivers a message to the machines. "I'm going to show them a world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries, a world where anything is possible." The war for humanity's freedom has just begun.